Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
White trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. Cat drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
All righty.
Hey, welcome to King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rusty. Still Rusty.
He is Rusty. Look at those headphones.
And to these are my
headphones.
These are my autist headphones. These are the ones I carry with me in public places and things like that. So Luke posted a comment here. He said the Austin Cindric no penalty was BS. It was. I agree. I agree with Luke there. And what is the name of that band again that does our intro? I'm blanking on it again. I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, the Flame Trick Subs. Somebody in the Lindsay on the Instagram said that her boner is palpable at this intro.
Is that is that the person that's in Austin, or is that one of the two comedians that are in Austin?
Yeah, that's one of the two comedians. That would be the lady.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if you want to see Flame Trick Subs, just look them up because they play in Austin. They live in Austin, so they'll be around anytime you want to go see them. It's a great show. One of my favorite shows.
Yeah, they're a rockabilly band.
Yeah, one of my favorite shows I've ever been to was at the Black Cat down on 6th Street to see the Flame Trick Subs. They had their Satan's cheerleaders up on stage dancing. And I mean, it was the full show, right? I mean, the full show. And met a guy and his girlfriend. He went by the name of the Enigma. Had puzzle pieces tattooed all over his body. He was on X-Files and a couple other places. And then after that show, the Black Cat burnt down. So is one of my all-time favorite memories of.
Did they ever solve the enigma of why it burned down?
No, I don't think so. I think it was mostly fire.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought maybe it was like he only appeared there, in the form of a riddle just to.
Well, he was there. Everybody. He's blue all over, and his whole body is tattooed with little puzzle pieces. And then his girlfriend came up, and she has horns that are put up under her skin.
The subdermal implant thing. Yeah,
quite a couple. But they were super nice folks. So, all right, here we go. We are at season 7, episode 12, or in the year of our Lord 7, ABE 09. So we're not far off, three episodes off from where it should be. Yeah. This is Vision Quest, first aired February 9th, 2000, and Trace.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say it is the 138th episode of King of the Hill.
Oh, wow. This is here's the synopsis. Hank takes Joseph on a vision quest. I love how Hank takes him on a vision quest in hopes to change the boy's ways. But when Dale ends up experiencing a vision of his own, he misinterprets one of Joseph's dreams and encourages him to kill a panda at the zoo. Yeah, I mean, because we've all been there.
Yeah, I've all been there. Somebody's got to be that kid's dad. It might as well be Hank, right?
This is directed by Dominic Pulsino and Clay Hall. That's Clay with a K. And writers are Mike Judge, Greg Daniels, of course, and Ethan Cohen. I don't know if it's not one of the Cohen brothers, is it?
No, I don't think it's one of the Cohen brothers, but he did work on he actually grew up in the occupied Palestinian territories. I like that the editor, they don't say Israel, the editor of the wiki page put occupied Palestinian territories. That's kind of funny.
Artie says not a Cohen brother. And
not a Cohen brother, but he did work on Idiocracy, and he also worked on King of the Hill for a good while, from about this point in the show to about 2005. And this is the Vision Quest episode where Dale takes Joseph on Dale and Joseph go on a Vision Quest, but Dale is the one that starts thinking he's a Native American.
Yeah. Now, Artie, always being there for us, knew right away to reference the Cohen brother thing, and I do appreciate that. Now, Artie did say something earlier, pour some sugar on Khan over Mike's shoulder. I don't it's the episode that's playing. I got you. Okay. Wow.
Oh, and there's Jordan.
Yeah.
What's up, Jordan? Hello.
Hello. All right, let's get started on this thing. We start at another King of the Hill business that we've never seen, Bacon and Waffles. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that is Bacon Waffles. That's just the letter N. Red Corn and Hank are out for breakfast, which is really weird. It's odd when those two are out together. But they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The waitress is just clearing the plates away. Hank is sitting on one side, and Red Corn's on the other side of a booth. And Hank says, "Well, you obviously enjoyed that sandwich, John Redcorn. Now, let me tell you about a different kind of sandwich you might enjoy. At Strickland Propane, we offer our customers a sandwich of excellent service. The meat," and Red cuts him off, and he says, "Hank, I'm sure your propane is wonderful, but the reason I met you for lunch is because I'm worried about the way Dale is raising my son." He goes, "Oh, okay, all right, easy there. Joseph is Dale's son, and you have nothing to worry about. Joseph's a good kid. Heck, he's Bobby's best friend."
That's such a tough conversation to have. I don't like how he's raising my son, and he's like, "Well, you kind of gave up."
Yeah, you kind of gave that up there, buddy.
Thing.
Yeah. He says,
not your
he
boy
goes
anymore.
He goes, "Heck, he's Bobby's best friend." So he's, all credit to Hank, but he's basically saying if anybody's friends with Bobby, they're good kids. And Redcorn says, "I saw him unscrewing salt shaker tops at the food court. He ruined an old man's taco salad." I love that line right there. He ruined an old man's taco salad. He goes, "Well,
we got a comment. Sorry. Anyone drinking? No, that's okay. I'll drink for you all. Well, you could have your noon beer. I'm drinking Pepsi Zero."
I'm still on the coffee.
With cocaine.
All right. So cocaine in the Pepsi or the coffee or both?
Both.
Okay, fantastic. Hank says, "Well, you know how boys are." He goes, "Yes, but there comes a time in every boy's life when he must decide to be good or bad. And a big, strong boy like Joseph can be very good or very bad. He needs a vision quest to guide him." He goes, "A vision quest? All cultures have a similar rite of passage. Your people have a bar mitzvah." Hank just looks at him. He goes, "We're not Jewish." "Oh, really?" I guess he thinks all white people are Jewish. Because look, if Joseph needs something, Dale's his father. He's going to take care of it. I mean, we've seen how that goes. Next thing, we transition over to Tom Langer Middle School, and Joseph and Bobby are in the hall between classes. Bobby says, "Come on, guess, bear or raccoon?" He goes, "I don't know, bear." He goes, "Ha, trick question. No one knows if the giant panda is really a member of the bear or the raccoon family." He holds up a library book he got that's all about pandas. He goes, "Tomorrow is going to be the coolest field trip ever. cooler than the Science Museum when Miss Cooper's shirt fell open. Is that what all that laughter was about? I was in the giant ear. Now that tells you absolutely the difference between Bobby and Joseph, though. Joseph was so worried about looking down this lady's shirt because her shirt fell open, and Bobby was just in the giant ear, pretending it was probably an earwig or
Yeah,
something.
of course, Joseph was worried about the tatas. I think that's about all he thinks about.
Artie says he likes when Bobby gets excited about stuff, just things.
There's actually
All right.
two voices. I want to go ahead and knock their names
Yeah,
out real
please.
fast. So there's a guy named Steve and a guy named Dave that pop up later on in the show. Steve in this episode is voiced by a journeyman actor. His name is Kyle Howard, and he starred in a show in 2010 called Perfect Couples, and he ended up getting replaced by somebody before the show ever aired. So that was like his only one star role. But he did play a recurring character, Paul Van Dyke, in the TV show Royal Pains. I never watched that one, so I don't know. But he was kind of like I said, a journeyman. So he was like a bit actor, and he was in a bunch of stuff, but he only did like an episode here, episode there. He did do 14 episodes in the Drew Carey show as a guy named Evan. That was the longest run that he had. That's a relatable show.
That has a lot of carryover between King of the Hill and Drew Carey show. We've mentioned Drew Carey show many, many times.
Yeah. There's a few for sure. And then the other guy is a guy named Norwood Cheek. He played in a 6-piece alt rock band called Sex Police. He was in another one called Manchild, and then another one called the Cardinal Family Singers. But he is a film guy. Yeah. He's a film guy, and he's done a ton of music videos. He's done music videos for 12 Stones, AFI. Directed them. So he's done the Donnas, the Beths, Squirrel Nut Zippers, Toe Nut, Eels, 5/8, French Kicks, She and Him, Soul Coughing. She and Him is actually
Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah, Zoe Deschanel and M. Ward. But he did a bunch of that, and then he was the producer and editor for films Bring It On, May, Down with Love, Aliens in the Attic, Yes Man, Beowulf.
Bring It On 4. This time it's personal. Bring It On 5.
Yeah. So and he's actually got several acting credits, voice acting for King of the Hill. So he's done a few voices.
And these are guys.
One of his first
These are guys
ones.
that just played the punks, right? This is
Jake
and Dave.
Yeah, Steve, Jake, and Dave. I don't know who does Jake. I'm guessing it's got to be somebody. Pamela Adlon. She does Jake. So.
Okay. All right. So later, the two of them are walking past the dumpsters, and of course, that's where the cool kids hang out. There's a kid with a bucket hat and a toothpick. We come to find out that this is Steve. Steve seems to be the leader of this particular trio of idiots. They are walking by, and Bobby's the first one to see it. He's like, "Oh, Steve, Jake, and Dave." And then they almost get past them and past the dumpsters, and Steve yells out, "Hey, Gribble and Tubby, get your butts over here now!" And that's the first we see of these idiot punks that show up several times. My favorite are when the punks leave at the end, and we'll get to that here in just a second. Now we're back in the alley. We've got all four of the guys there, and Bill is asking the eternal question, "Hey, would anybody recognize Gangrene if they saw it?" Starts to kind of lift his shirt up to have people look at it. Here comes Bobby through. He's got that sad Charlie Brown look, where he's looking at the ground and kind of pushing his bike, that like that. Hank comes through. He's like, "Hey, Bobby, where's Joseph?" The stupid Joseph. He goes, "What the heck was that about?" Because he just goes past. Bill, of course, has the answers for all the kids. He said, "Oh, it's a very difficult age." And then Boomhauer, "Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, you're talking about them old raging hormones, man. You've been a still kid, man. Know what I'm talking about, man?" And then we hear glass shattering, things being kicked, all kinds of stuff. Yes, Artie, at the end, I thought he was a cop. And we see Hank looks across, and it's the punks over there kicking over Bill's recyclable trash can and kicking stuff down the street and all that. And they're just laughing about it. Oops. And then they come over, and Hank looks at Steve, and he's like, "Well, What are you looking at? And Steve says back to him, I don't know, but if I was a mirror, I'd kill myself. That makes no sense. But they laugh and they just kind of toddle away in their own punkish way. And then Dale, of course, the only one that's impressed. Whoa, those are the coolest kids I've ever seen. They appear to be friends with my son. So we see that Joseph has now glommed on to this group of punks, right? And so he's being spoiled and he's in with the
Well,
bad.
I feel like he's the only one that they can't bully. Like Bobby's the easy bully target. They can't really bully a guy that's 6 foot and athletic.
Joseph's a pretty big kid. So anyway, they walk away laughing, and Dale thinks they're very, very cool. Hank says, Dale, did you see what they did to Bill's recyclables? And then Bill looks at it and just goes, rude boys. Just rude boys. It's just my favorite. Rude boys. Dale says, pish tosh, what's the harm? Hank says, the harm is saying that little saying that says one bad apple spoils a whole bunch. Well, it looks like a whole mess of bad apples just got dumped on our kids. And then the weirdest thing, Bill says a lot of weird things, but this is
it's pretty weird, very delusional. And it's funny because the name that he mentions is the name of the Austin comedian who we were just talking to his wife here.
He goes, you know who'd be a good influence? My son, Trey. Hank just looks at him and goes, last week it was Travis. He goes, so? He just invents this kid that he has. My son, Trey. But last week his name was Travis. All right, so now the kids are getting on the buses for the field trip. They're outside of Tom Landry Middle School. And Bobby is talking to Joseph. He goes, you're cutting the field trip? You're going to get in the hugest trouble in the world. And then you see you see Joseph see the punks over there out of the corner of his eye. They kind of nod at him. He nods back and he goes, give your little pandas a shout out for me. And he leaves. He leaves with the punks. So we know that Joseph has taken a bad turn here. He's becoming a punk in and of himself. Now we're in the kitchen at Hank's house with Peggy at the table. Hank is very worried about these children. Maybe Redcorn was right. Joseph's fallen in with the wrong crowd, and every group of bad kids needs a heavy boy to be the lookout. Peggy says, and Bobby is so impressionable, I hope he has the strength to stand up to him. Every group needs a heavy boy to be the lookout. That's fantastic.
To be the lookout. That is fantastic. Did you have a heavy boy who was a lookout when you were younger?
It was probably me. And then no, I wasn't. I wasn't
well,
usually
you were
a lookout.
tall though.
I wasn't
you were
a
tall,
lookout.
so you were able to look out.
I was the one that was busting open the windows and stuff.
Yeah,
Bobby.
I was small. Well, I was short, so I'm the one that got put in the weird situations.
Yeah, I could have picked you up and put you through the window. Is what would happen. Bobby comes into the kitchen. He goes, Mom, Dad, I just saw the most incredible fabric softener ad. Is the supermarket still open? He's not helping his cause here at all, right?
At all. Absolutely not at all.
Hank's just like, Peggy, keep him here. And he leaves. And then he says to Peggy, did you know there exists a softness beyond any softness you've ever felt before? It's just so funny. Very good stuff. All right, so we're in Dale's basement now. Dale is on the phone. It's in the middle of the night. And you hear over the phone, Federal Reserve, how may I direct your call? You don't know me, but I know what you're up to. And then you hear Nancy pick up the phone as he's on it, because I guess it's like a party line or whatever. She goes, oh, sorry, Dale, didn't know you were on the phone. So he hangs up the phone real quick. He turns and boop, there's Hank just standing in the dark. He's just like, Hank says, Dale, I don't normally go in for that. It takes a village garbage. But you've got a situation with you, Joseph, that I can't have spilling over onto my Bobby. He goes, oh, I know, Hank, but what can I do? He goes, you can tell Joseph he's not to hang around those kids anymore. I can't do that. This is his chance to be cool. You only get one chance, Hank. I know. And then we see a flashback. We see a flashback to a time when Dale was young. It seems like it's the late 70s because he's wearing some bell bottoms and like a big ass collar and stuff. And he's running down the hall of the high school. The principal stops and goes, whoa there, Gribble, where's the fire? And then Dale starts thinking to himself, say it's in your wife's pants, say it's in your wife's pants. And then some kid over on the side just goes, it's in your wife's pants. And everybody laughs and everything. And then Dale is just too late and too sad with it's in your wife's pants. And then we come back to the present. Dale says, I won't do it. Those kids like Joseph, and they're cool. They're really cool. I don't know why he's so impressed with these stupid punks, but
yeah, which is weird for like a grown man to be like, oh, they're so cool. Those are some cool kids. Why would I stop my kid from like? Usually the at that age level, the cool kids usually are assholes and end up being like losers when they're adults.
well, they're about
So
to
it's
peak.
like, yeah,
Right? They're about to peak.
yeah.
So high
All
school,
they will have is a mug of beer, and they're 40 years old, and they're drinking this mug of beer at the bar, talking to their people and saying, "You remember when we were cool in high school?" And that's it.
well,
That'll be the highlight of their life.
there's a fine line here, though, because you do have four of those cool kids out in the alley there, just standing around drinking beer all day, telling stories. So there is a fine line.
Which is what they reminisce. What do they mostly do? And only one of them we could verify as a family man. That's like a really good
That's
family
true.
man. The rest of
That's
them could be. I mean, like one of them's a
life goes
womanizer.
backwards. Yeah,
One of them's
idiot.
a depressed alcoholic, and the other one is and just a really really dumb human being. So who lives off his wife's paycheck. So there, I mean, like the argument's still valid.
So Hank says, "Dang it, Dale, no one likes being the bad guy, but sometimes that's part of being a dad." He goes, "I don't want to be a dad. It's too hard." He goes, "Dale, you can't just ignore." And he picks up the phone. And Dale says, "Yes, it's Dale." He goes, "Dale, phone didn't even ring." He goes, "Oh, how good of you to return my call. Sorry, Hank, this will have to wait." Just blatantly lies to him about a phone call. All right, now we're at John Redcorn's trailer. And Hank has come over there to talk to him about what they can do. And he goes, "Thank you for reconsidering a vision quest, Hank." He says, "You think it'll fix Joseph? It fixed me. There aren't too many former roadies who own their own healing centers." Yeah, I don't know how impressive that is, but okay.
Yeah, I don't either.
Hank says, so how does one of these things work? He goes, "Think of a vision quest as a purification process." And then we start to see this vision that he had, right? He had this vision quest when he was younger. We see the desert, and there's a bunch of tumbleweeds going by. We see a young John Redcorn decked out in his Alamo beer T-shirt, and he's given a big buffalo headdress, and we see some snakes and a hot sun and all this stuff, and he has to go on his vision quest, right? He says, "To ready the body and mind to receive the wisdom," and then you start hearing the Indian flute play. He goes, "One prepares for a vision by fasting for 24 hours, no food, no water, nothing. Then one must push the body to a point of physical exhaustion. To achieve this, the seeker will often wander in the wilderness for many hours until he collapses. And you see him in his vision, and he falls on the ground, kind of face first. And then we go back to the present, and Hank says, "Okay, I got it. No eating or drinking, lots of hiking, and then we'll see something. That'll make him okay." He's like taking notes, the whole time. And the funny thing about Hank is he boils it down to just the bare essentials, right? We do this, this, and this, and he'll be fine. All our problems will be solved. Redcorn says, "Hopefully."
He's always looking for a quick solution to his problems.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's a fixer.
And then it ends up dragging out. Like he always wants to have like this really immediate solution, but then the whole problem ends up being dragged out even worse because of he needs this immediate solution.
So we go back to Redcorn's vision, and he says, "In my vision, I saw a majestic tree blowing in the wind, but the tree had no roots and was lifted up and blown away." Now the tree looks exactly like John Redcorn with no face or anything on it, but and so we kind of get the metaphor here. And then it also goes over to a concert where John Redcorn is playing. He's playing security for the band. He's that guy that's always right up against the stage that has to face out and is not able to watch the concert. He's just out there watching people. And the band is up on the stage playing. The band, we find out, is Winger, because that is who he played or he worked with as a roadie. But you see him in that same Alamo T-shirt standing up there, and one of the guys from the band leans down and goes, "Hey, Redcorn, green tube top, row 4." And so he just Yeah.
I had a quip on Winger. So Winger is a real band for those that don't know. For I'm sure a lot of our audience or some of our audience doesn't know anything about 80s rock. So Winger is an actual band from New York City. They actually had 2 platinum albums, Winger and In the Heart of the Young. So they had the song 17, the song Headed for a Heartbreak, and the song Miles Away. And
Yeah.
in 1990, they were nominated for the best new heavy metal band by the American Music Award Association or whatever. So it was when the music scene started to change into like grunge was like popular, it kind of killed their third release. So they had their first 2 albums, and they were kind of like a one-off boom and gone kind of band.
Kip
They
Winger.
actually
Kip Winger
did,
was the front man.
yeah, Kip Winger, and they actually did do a recent album. So they put out an album in
Gross.
2008, and then they did another one in 2009, and then they put
Oh,
one out in 2014 and then 2023. So they actually
good
have
Lord.
recent music if you would want to listen to that. But it was
Heavy
like
hot.
hair band. If you like hair band still, I'm not a fan of
So,
hair metal. So
so here's the most 80s concert I ever went to, right? It was Winger opening for Rat. So that's about the
that
most
that's
80s
about
hair
as
band
80s as it's get.
concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was Austin at the Frank Erwin Center. All right, so Winger he points out he wants this girl, and so the girl with the green tube top goes to the back, and then you hear Redcorn say, "I knew that the tribal elders had interpreted my vision correctly, and that wrangling groupies for Winger was no way to live my life." And so we come back after if you see Redcorn tear off his badge and throw it down and walk off. We come back to the present day, and he says, "So I was thinking I would take him to Lake Buchanan on Thursday." Now, where is Lake Buchanan? Near Austin?
Lake Buchanan. I'm pretty sure it's near Austin.
Yeah, Artie, Winger and Rat. You got it.
Lake Buchanan. Yeah,
I saw it on the show, man.
it's by Inks Lake, so it's kind of like southwest.
Okay.
It's by
Okay.
Llano. It's like it's in between Llano and Burnett. So yeah, it's in that area.
That makes total sense because they go out to where it's a little more flat,
Yeah,
and that
it's
sort of thing.
like
And no,
it's like
I don't think there is a B story in this one, by the way.
For those of you that don't know geography of Texas, Llano is like northwest kind of Austin. So
Yeah.
the river that runs through the middle of Austin is the same river that Lake Buchanan's on, because Lake Buchanan comes down off of the Colorado, and it's a water reservoir, obviously, for that area. And then the river comes down further, and then kind of around what's it called? Kind of around Burnett, like I guess west of Burnett, there's another lake called Inks Lake, and then you go further down, and the river, that's where you get Lake LBJ, which is
Mm,
right before, like Lake LBJ is like by Marble Falls, because
mhm.
LBJ is from that area of Texas. He's from He's from a town called Stonewall, Texas, and that's like right in that area. So that's that whole Hippie Hollow and all that stuff in Austin. That's all kind of to the west of Austin, and that's where all this river and lake system
Yeah.
is. It's like a couple of lakes on the way down.
So he's taking him out there for a vision quest, which I don't know. Hank says, "Yeah, I'm not sure how well that's going to work with the whole keeping Dale from knowing about your hand in Joseph's creation." He says, "But Hank, it's really important that Joseph's vision be interpreted correctly if it is to guide him to the proper life path." He goes, "Well, then I guess I'll bring Dale and the boys camping. Joseph will have a vision. I'll report back with the dream, and you'll fill me in on the sacred wisdom and whatnot." I mean, again, boom, 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 done. That's what he. I'll just take him. He'll have a vision. I'll let you know what it is, and we'll fix him. He goes, "It is a fair compromise, but Hank, this is an important ritual among my people. Don't half-ass it." I love the part at the end. Just, it's an important ritual. It's for my people. It goes back millions of years. Don't half-ass it. That's my. All right, so we're on the road in the Bugaboo. Dale is driving. Hank's in the passenger seat. They all have hats on for some reason. Bobby and Joseph are in the back seat, and Bobby says to him, "Hey, I never told you what a great time you missed at the Pandas. We got to eat bamboo. Then Clark Peters made a butt crack out of his stomach fat, and the panda totally looked right at him. Hilarious. Plus, I got this." And he pulls out this panda-shaped cup. It's these souvenir cups like you'd get at Six Flags or someplace else, or Disneyland or something. But it's shaped like a panda, and it's got a big straw sticking out of its head. And he goes, "Her name is Pang Ni. And when I bought her, she was filled with Chinese energy drink." And Joseph you can see the look on his face. He hates all of this. He wants to be out destroying things and being stupid. And they get to the place where they park, and they're starting to get set up. They go through the sign that says "Welcome to Lake Buchanan Park." It's managed by the Texas Parks Department. And then you hear Hank, "Joseph, Bobby, and Dale, while we're here, it's important to listen to what the land is telling us. Yep, this land once belonged to the Caddo tribe. And the story goes that they offered their spirits." And then you hear, "Hey, speaking of the red men," and it just happens to be that John Redcorn is in the parking lot with a backpack on. He goes, "John Redcorn."
I had a quick fun fact about the
Yeah.
Caddo Indians or whatever. So we live in a town that was named after a group of Native Americans called the Wacos. And the Wacos' actual language, they spoke Caddoan language. They spoke a language that was similar to the Caddoan. So they're kind of, it's kind of like being in Europe and saying, I've got a bit of German and a bit of French in me and a bit of this in me, kind of thing. And to relate to the Native Americans. So the Caddos were kind of related to the Pawnees, were kind of related to the Wichitas, were kind of related to the Wacos. So they all kind of spoke like the same language and had like a similar culture. So the Waco is actually a branch of Wichita Indians. So in the only surviving natives that are called Waco, they live in on the Wichita Indian Reservation in Oklahoma. So they still have. There's actually a video that you could find on YouTube if you want to, guys. It's on the cable access for Waco, our cable access TV YouTube, and they actually had a Waco Indian come to Waco and like give like a historical account of the Waco Indians. But so the language that the Waco people spoke was called Waco, and it's now an extinct dialect, but it is a dialect of the Caddo language. So there you go.
So John Redcorn looks at him and goes, "Hey, what a coinky dink. All of us camping here, pretty funny." And then Dale starts laughing, and then he goes, "Oh, you mean funny weird? That is odd." He says, "Well, I won't keep you, but hey, remember to listen to what the land is telling you, especially Joseph." So they start wandering off into the woods. And obviously, they've been going for quite a bit here because Bobby says, "I don't think I've ever been hungrier." And then Joseph says, "Yeah, I never thought I could go this far without food, but we're doing it, right, Dad?" And then you see Dale. Dale looks like he hasn't eaten in about 6 weeks. And he goes, "Give us some
Generally,
food."
he always looks like he hasn't eaten in 6 weeks.
Oh, he's such a weirdo. He goes, "Give us some food, Hank. I'm starving." And then it shows Joseph's face, and he just looks super disappointed, just kind of shaking his head. Hank gets to the place, and he goes, "Oh, blast it. I think I left the food in the van. Blast it." When do you ever hear Hank say blast it? That has never been a thing. He's never said blast it. Everybody groans, and then they finally get to the campsite. Dale gets there. He is completely out of air, like he's just going to fall over dead. Joseph is by the stream, kind of looking and reflecting in the water, literally and figuratively. And he goes, "Could you have picked the site farther away, Hank?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, what was I thinking?" I mean, he meant to because he wants him to do this whole thing, right? And he goes, "Your problem is you never think about anything." Well, that's bullshit, but okay. He starts coughing and wheezing and stuff. Later that night around the campfire, Bobby starts to kind of nod off, and Joseph or Hank just kind of elbows him and goes, "Look alive, boy." And Joseph says, "Why can't we just go to sleep?" He goes, "Oh, bears. Maybe Dale, Bobby, and I should go get some more wood. Joseph, you stay here. The only thing keeping you safe from bears is this fire, so don't fall asleep and let it go out. Whatever. And they walk off. And then you hear Dale as they're walking off. I don't want to walk anymore. How come he gets to stay? Such a baby. Such a baby. All right, so they're in the woods and they're all walking still. Dale, of course, is kind of looking around. He's done with this. He's kind of wheezing. He goes, "There's wood, passing all kinds of wood, 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 wood. That's weird wood, 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 weird wood, weird wood." He's just kind of going nuts. Honestly, he just keeps saying the word wood.
Wood,
yeah, wood. He says, "Yeah, maybe this is far enough. All right, who wants a candy bar?" He pulls out a little tiny candy bar, and Bobby's like, "Oh, thank God I'm starving." Like that's going to do it. But whatever. He goes, "Dale?" He goes, "Wood, wood, wood, wood." He's got a flashlight. He's just looking all around at all the trees and stuff. And then you hear like this Indian flute and the tambourine start playing, and Dale kind of falls down. Hank says, "Oh my God, Dale, are you all right?" He goes, "I see the buffalo. I see the Indian. I am the Indian." Then he passes out. Hank's like, "Oh, dang it." So they finally end up back at the campfire. We see Joseph standing there or sitting there by the campfire, and he's like, "Dad, where the hell are you? Dad." Redcorn is there watching from behind a tree because that's not creepy at all. Bobby
not
comes
creepy,
walking,
not one bit.
Bobby comes, especially the way he's looking. It's just so weird. Bobby comes walking up and he goes, "Your dad's not coming. He's rolling around on the ground and eating bark. My dad's saying dang it a lot." He goes, Joseph's like, "This trip so suck." He goes, "You know what this land's telling me? Wreck stuff." And then he picks up his dad's mattress or his sleeping bag and throws it right into the fire. And he goes, "No, that's your dad's sleeping bag." He goes, "Look at it burn." And he's just tearing shit up now. So that is our first commercial break. We're going to go ahead and take that. And we will be
right back.
Acme Joy makes top-of-the-line adult products, provides sex toys like male masturbators, penis pumps, cock rings, anal stimulators, realistic dildos, and sex dolls, etc. Founded in 2011, Acme Joy has long held the belief everyone deserves a better orgasm. Acme Joy prides itself on being able to satisfy a wide range of sexual needs and provide a greater variety of orgasms. It adheres to the idea that everyone deserves a better orgasm. Whether you want to experience surreal oral sex pleasure, true to slight intercourse, or even more intense anal stimulation, Acme Joy will always offer something beyond your imagination. Acme Joy's goal is to provide high-quality products at the optimal prices to every user, as well as superior customer service. Go to acmejoy.com.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit internx.com today and take control of your digital life. That's internxt.com today.
All right, so we are coming back from this commercial break. Joseph is pissed off. He's throwing things. He said 30 seconds isn't long enough for me to type this comment. Yeah, well, there you go. He's pissed off because he's a troubled teen, and Bobby doesn't know what's going on with his friend, so he's a little confused. Hank's there trying to get him into a vision quest or whatever. We're back at the Hill House now, and we're in Bobby's room, and you see Bobby, and he's there with his little panda cup, and he just punches it right in the face. Hank comes up, knocks on the door. comes in and says, "Hey, Bobby, I wanted to talk to you about Joseph. Like, if Joseph's planning to do something bad, I want you to tell me." He goes, "Wait a second, you want me to be a narc?" He goes, "Bobby, sometimes narking is good." And he lifts the blinds, and what we see outside is Bill, who is stuck in a car tire, rolling on the ground. And he says, "You see that? If Boomhauer hadn't called me and I narked on Bill, or hadn't called me and narked on Bill, I wouldn't have known he was in trouble." And then he shouts out the window at Bill, "Relax, don't struggle. You're just making things worse." Bill, of course, hops up and goes, "Don't tell me what to do," and then falls back down, starts jumping, rolling, falling. He goes, "I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to pry that tire off Bill. I'll probably get kicked and scratched in the process, but that's what friends do." So the next thing we see is we got Dale over at John Redcorn's now, John Redcorn's fancy trailer. He knocks at the door and he says, "Hello, my Indian brother, my beautiful Indian brother," which is such a weird way to approach anyone. "Can I come in? I got a vision that needs interpreting." Redcorn lets him in. He's like, "So I've heard." He goes, "Please, Dale, that belonged to my father," because Dale has picked up this little bone necklace and he's like farting with it and playing with it and stuff. He goes, "Yeah, it's nice. What's it made out of? Rigatoni?" He says, "No, bones." He goes, "Oh, anyway, try running this vision through the old noggin. There was an Indian. I couldn't see his face, but he was a big guy, about yay tall, about yay wide, wearing a magnificent buffalo headdress, and he was making love to my wife." He goes, "Dale, I'm not sure." He goes, "No, hold on, there's more. I suddenly found myself in a hospital watching Nancy give birth to Joseph, except Joseph was wearing the exact same headdress as the faceless Indian. So, working backwards, I fathered an Indian child, therefore I am an Indian." I'm not sure that's the way that works. Hey,
This
Sergeant
is one of those. Hey, Sergeant Sassy.
Yeah. Same to you, buddy. Thanks a lot. All right. So
what I was saying is one of the.
Don't fucking watch it then, Sergeant Sassy. Who cares?
Yeah, one of the scene about it was that scene right there. I think is kind of funny because it kind of like man, that guy threw me off. It kind of discusses like the myth of who had his kid, like because he thinks that he's his dad. So
Please
he's
do.
now saying, "Oh yeah, I'm his dad." You know, like even though John Redcorn is his dad, it kind of alludes to.
Yeah. All right, so we're now in the alley. No, I'm sorry, he's still talking to him. He goes, "Dale, I'm not sure." He goes, "Hold on, there's more." And he tells him the rest of it. He goes, "So I am an Indian." He goes, "Okay, that's one interpretation." He goes, "So do you have a regular place you buy your feathers and bonnets and so forth?" He goes, "Oh, it's a website." So that's a little sad, honestly. He said, "No, so now we're in the alley. We got all four guys. We can't see Dale yet because we can only see the three guys." And we hear, "Yep, yep, mm-hmm," and then a war whoop, which now Dale is dressed as an Indian warrior. He's got the thing on his chest. He's got a headdress on over his hat. He starts dancing and yelling and whooping and all that stuff. And Bill looks at him and goes, "Well, I'm just going to come right out and say it, Dale. Something seems different about you." I just love that part. He goes, "Something is different, Bill. I had a vision. I'm an Indian now." He goes, "Oh." Because I always wondered why I hated the federal government and I love tobacco with such passions, but now it all makes sense. He goes, okay. Hank says, "You time out. Sitting jackass. Have you ever looked in a mirror lately? You are the goddamn whitest person I've ever seen." He goes, "I am the albino buffalo. Deal with it." Hank just kind of shakes his head in disgust.
I am the albino buffalo. I like that.
The albino buffalo. Yeah. Oh, man. This fucking guy. All right, so we are at the get in, get out, which is kind of like the 7-Eleven or something like that. And Joseph rides up on his bike, and he comes up and says, "Is this your lunch period or are you cutting? Because I'm definitely cutting." And the guy says, "We're cutting and making plans. Tomorrow night, we're going to go show these stupid fat-ass pandas who's boss." The other one says, "We're going to paint them." And the last one says, "Yeah, we're going to paint our names all over them." What a great plan. So we hear a nervous laugh, And then he says, but those pandas, aren't they? You're not going to just sit around and let you do that to them. He goes, that's why we're going to drug them. We got bamboo soaked in NyQuil. And so now we're back at Tom Landry Middle School. I mean, it seems like such a terrible plan to soak some bamboo in NyQuil and then try to get the pandas down and shoot one or paint your name on it. I guess they hadn't talked about shooting them yet, but painting your name on the pandas, because number one, everybody's going to know who did it. That seems terrible, but whatever. That's great. And then you see we're back at Tom Landry Middle School. Now, Joseph is still in his crappy teen phase or whatever, and he is just kind of like all of us have done. He's drawing on the school desk. And he's making these skulls and crossbones and all kinds of crap on there. And he says, Bobby's sitting right next to him. He goes, hey, Joseph, nice. I mean, he's still trying to relate to his friend here. You know, he goes, nice skeletons, knife through the eye, huh? That's probably what killed him. He goes, if you're going to give me a hard time, do it fast, Bobby, because I'm getting out of here. He goes, you're cutting again? You keep it up, you're going to get expelled. I mean, Bobby's really worried about his friend at this point. Joseph said, so Steve's older brother got expelled. Now he's got his own business filling vending machines. He gets all the snacks he wants. It's just that seems like such a life goal. He goes, hey, how about we go do something really bad after school together? Bobby's really trying to work on his friend, trying to get his friend back. He goes, we could buy a pane of glass and break it. My treat. He goes, wow, Bobby, you do that for me? He goes, my dad's got a new edger. We can use it. He goes, you know, Bobby, I haven't been able to eat all day. I can't sleep. Can I tell you something? Bobby says, what's up? He goes, Steve and those guys are planning this big thing at the zoo tonight, because he knows all about the painting on the pandas. He goes, what? He goes, oh, I shouldn't have said anything. I can't tell anyone. Then the teacher pipes up. The teacher says, everybody, I'd like to welcome a special guest today, a man from our local Native American community who took the time out of his busy schedule to share a little something about his heritage. And then, of course, it's Dale that comes in. Dale has no pants on. He's dressed like an Indian warrior.
He's definitely taking cultural appropriation to the next level.
He's the white albino at this point. He comes in and says, good morning, class, or as my people say, how? And then, of course, Dooley, always there with the well-timed comment, I can see your dad's junk. So
I love Dooley.
All right, 2 a.m. We're in Joseph's room. Joseph is really torn up about this whole panda thing. We hear some low mumbling sounds. We hear some Indian flute music play and stuff. He's just kind of thrashing in his bed. He goes, oh, Dad. He kind of wakes up, sits up in his bed. Of course, Dale is crawling through his window at the time. And he goes, everything all right, son? I was just doing some farming, and I thought I heard something. Some farming at 2 a.m. He's doing some farming out in the middle of the night.
Yeah, 2 a.m. farming. That'll get it done. Well,
he crawls through the window just like an Indian.
Yeah, I was gonna say, before we had like modern lighting, the actual like human sleep schedule was like in cycles. So you would sleep during like the peak heat of the day. You would get up, you'd go farm some, then you'd sleep some, then you'd get up, and then you'd go back out and you would do some more farming in the early morning, and then you'd come in and you'd sleep again. So there was like the circadian rhythm, as we call it now, is this 8-hour sleep cycle, which is actually detrimental to us. Like our 8-hour sleep schedule, the way we sleep, isn't as beneficial to our health as the original human sleep schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. And I think that it's different for absolutely everybody else, you know? My sleep schedule, I don't know how many hours you get, but I'm good if I get 6. That's about it.
Yeah.
All right. So we are now 2:00 in Joseph's room. Dale is climbing through his window for some reason, dressed as an Indian. And he says, I was just doing some farming and I heard something. I don't know what kind of farming he's doing with his little axe there. He goes, oh, you're not crazy. I just had one of those vision things you were talking about. Maybe I should go talk to Mr. Redcorn like you did and find out what it means. He goes, you don't need to talk to John Redcorn. As an Indian, I'm fully qualified to interpret dreams. This is the most appropriation that you'll get in this episode right here. He goes, really?
We're at
He goes,
the
"Is
peak
the
of it,
wind?"
especially.
He said, "Is the wind sacred?" He said, "Well," and then he starts kind of recounting the dream, and we start to see it. There's a buffalo herd running at the camera with Joseph running with them, and he goes, I was running with a herd of buffalo, but I didn't run fast enough, so I got trampled. And one of those pandas, and you see a panda in the desert just staring at him. He goes, one of those pandas was staring at me. And then we go back to the present. Dale says, "Oh, that's pretty weird." He goes, "Well, I guess panda kind of makes sense. Those guys, my new friends, they were going to do something real bad at the zoo tonight." He goes, "I know what dream means. The dream means go with the herd. Those kids are your destiny. You can be your one shot at coolness." Man, what a terrible dad. He goes, "So I should try to
Horrible,
do it."
absolutely horrible, Dad.
He's terrible. He goes, "So I should try to do what they're doing, even if I think it's bad." He goes, "Yes, yes, no, no, you're not going to run with the herd. Dream means you got to run faster and be even cooler than them." He goes, "But they're going to paint their names on the pandas. I could never be cooler than them." He goes, "Of course you could, by killing a panda." Jesus, what a terrible father this guy is.
Telling him to
He's
kill
gonna
pandas,
teach
that's
his
not a
kid.
cool thing to do now.
Oh my God, he's going to teach his kid to go out there. And oh my goodness. All
Let's
right,
not kill
so
pandas. Let's please not kill pandas.
yeah, let's not kill any pandas. All right, so he tells him, "Yeah, you can be cooler by killing a panda." He goes, "Yeah, but like killing them like a crime?" He goes, "Absolutely for a white man, but we're Indians. We can kill just about anything so long as we use all the parts. Hey, how'd you like to go to school wearing a panda head as a hat?" He goes, "Yeah, that would be cool." He goes, "Come on, get dressed. We're going to the
So,
zoo."
actually, for a time period in Japan, so I want to say it was a capital punishment crime at one point in China.
Killing a panda?
If you killed a panda, then you could be capital pun is like capital punishment. So it was they it was capital punishment for national symbols and treasures. So if you stole cultural relics or you killed a giant panda or anything like that, they would actually I don't want to say execute because it doesn't say
Yeah,
execute anywhere here, but it was
probably
a
like one of those
capital
caning
offense.
things,
Yeah, it
right?
was a real bad thing to do. Yeah, you were not supposed to steal relics or kill pandas because panda is it's a big symbol
It's like their national animal
for
or
China.
whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Big deal. All right, that is our second commercial. We are going to leave them dressed as Indians, and we will be right back.
Watch the world's biggest tennis stars clash in the California desert at the BNP Paribas Open, live on Tennis Channel.
How do they get to these shots?
Tune in daily for exclusive first ball to last coverage from Indian Wells and witness all of the jaw-dropping action as the game's top men and women square off at one of the greatest events in sports. It's tennis magic you need to see to believe. The BNP Paribas Open, live on Tennis Channel and streaming on the Tennis Channel app.
Over the past several days, 3 females have been found dead.
Looks like someone's going after these girls.
Then they have to know to watch their backs.
Streaming March 13th.
You really want what happened to this one that happened to you?
Exactly why I need to keep going on this.
Starring Emmy Award winner Amanda Seyfried.
I'm worried about what you're gonna find. So am I.
Long Bright River, a limited series. Streaming March 13th, only on Peacock.
And we are back, and Artie has a very good point. He says that Dale always gets everything wrong. He's absolutely right about that.
Yeah, he
But then
does.
Rusty came back and said, or does he always get everything right? And I'm going to go ahead and take a side on that. No, he does not ever get anything right. All right. R. McLean says, I don't know if you mentioned, but all pandas are owned by China, even the ones born in the USA. Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that all pandas belong to China.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Artie
That's
says
a
he's a
movie.
broken clock kind of thinker. Yep. Gotcha. All right. So now we are we're out there with the two. They're both dressed like Indian warriors at this point. Now we see Dale. He goes into his bedroom where Nancy is sleeping. He's putting on the rest of his Indian gear. And she kind of rustles and wakes up. She goes, "What are you doing, Shug?" She sees him putting the stuff on. She goes, "Oh, I get it." Like he's wanting to role play or something, I guess. He goes, "No time for that, cowgirl. Joseph had a dream about getting trampled by a buffalo herd, so we're off to do something spectacular to make sure the cool kids like him. Bail money's in the armoire just in case. Love you." And he leaves. Nancy immediately picks up the phone and calls John Redcorn. John on the other end of the phone says, No, Nancy, the dream is a warning. Dale's going to ruin Joseph's life. I have relied on others to raise my son for too long. No offense, but it ends now. I don't know what he means by that, but
I don't either.
He hangs the phone up. Now we go over to the Heimlich County Zoo. It's night, and the Bugabago is there. And they are driving up to the gate at the zoo. And he goes, "Oh, shoot, the gate's locked. What was that chant Redcorn taught me? The one I used to open the mustard. Hi, Grey Poupon. Hey."
Yeah, Grey Poupon.
Yeah, good stuff. And then we get, he says, "Dad, watch out." And he just drives right through the damn gate. Now, why it is a wooden gate, I'm not real sure, but it is a wooden gate that protects the entire Heimlich County Zoo. So good for them. He drives right through it, busts the gate wide open. He says, "The gate is open. Thank you, gate spirit." Like he did anything. He just drove through the damn gate. All right, so now we're back at the Hills house. It's the middle of the night, and Nancy and Redcorn are at the Peggy and Hank's door. And Peggy opens up the door and she sees both of them standing there. And she goes, "Oh my God, they're eloping." Well, no, she's still married, but all right. And she says, "No, Shug, it's about Joseph. Can we come in?" And so they come in and they're both sitting there having some coffee and talking over this whole situation at the kitchen table. And he says, 500 years of oppression, and somehow I find this the most irritating. We must find Dale and Joseph before it's too late. Bobby walks in. He's holding his little panda cup, and he says, "I think I know where they went. Is it narking if I tell Pang Ni and you overhear it?" I said, "I don't think it is. I think he's found a loophole in the narkability." We're now at the zoo, and we've got the. We're at the zoo and we're pointing at the pandas and at the sign, right? There's like the little sign there and it's got like "You are here" or whatever. And they start pointing at the pandas on the thing. And he's acting like he was tracking this guy down or something. And he says, "Bingo, you can't hide from an Indian tracker. Let's move." And so they're taking off towards the pandas. They're going to kill a panda, which is always great. They are driving in Hank's truck, and Bobby and Redcorn are in the back of the truck. And Bobby says to Redcorn, he goes, "Joseph's never going to talk to me again." He goes, "You made a tough choice, but you might have saved your friend. My people have a saying, when we ask for strength, the Great Spirit sends us difficulties, which make us strong." He goes, "Oh, that's pretty cool." He goes, "You like that? Hey, pass it on to Joseph. If you want. I mean, either way, it's no big deal to me." So they pull up to the broken gate at the zoo, and they drive into the zoo. Dale says, "Joseph." He goes, "Yeah, Dad." They are at the panda enclosure, by the way, looking at the pandas. And he goes, "You're going to be so cool." He goes, "I know." And they start doing kind of this war dance, this whooping back and forth. The punks are there also. They look through the camcorder viewfinder and they see them over there about to kill a panda. And one of them says, "Cool, some dumbass left the gate open." And they come through, they see all that, and they go, "Whoa, Gribble's going to shoot a panda." He goes, "Man, he kills a panda, he'll be able to get any chick he wants." He goes, and then you see Joseph, and he's got the arrow pulled back, and he's got a real hard time. He's kind of shaking, to see He's trying to kill a panda, but I don't know that he's going to be able to do it because come to find out he is a good kid. Hank pulls up and he goes, Joseph, put the arrow down. His mother is there and she goes, please, Shug. And then of course
I can't believe they were that close to killing a panda though. How many times in your life are you that close to killing a panda?
My God, yeah, I don't know how many
As a
times I've ever
teenager.
been close to killing a panda. But anyway, he can't really do it. Nancy says, please don't do it. Then Dale, of course, being the great father, says, ignore the interlopers, focus on the hunt. Insane that he's still imploring his kid to shoot a panda. And you hear the punks, all right, Gribble, do it, kill the panda, man. And he goes, oh, let me get you in the frame. He puts him in the frame. He goes, okay, kill it. Like Dale looks over at these stupid punks and he's like, the herd is pleased. He's still struggling, trying to shoot this panda. And he looks at him and he goes, you heard him, kill it. If I had killed a panda at your age, we'd be living in the governor's mansion. Then up
I don't know what
comes-
that means.
I don't know what that means either. Unless if you start talking about RFK Jr., maybe you got something there. And then you see John Redcorn come up, and he's telling him not to do it. You know, he's standing right there next to him, and then he goes, "Oh, I can't do it." And then the arrow goes anyway for some reason.
Yeah,
and
let's go.
John Redcorn sticks his hand right out and catches it. And he goes, oh, shoot, I didn't mean to shoot it. It was an accident.
John Redcorn catching it was pretty cool, though.
Dale's, yes, Billy Jack is exactly right. And then Dale says to him, he won't catch a bullet, though. Like, what the fuck, Dale? Back off. God almighty, why is he being such a jackass? He says, like a lead buffalo, strong, independent, that will be your path. Because he did not do it, right? He didn't shoot the panda like he thought.
Didn't shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the kids, of course, they're like, he's like, boring. And then Hank walks up to the punks, and this is the part I was talking about when the punks leave. He goes, all right, there isn't going to be a panda killing tonight, so go home before I call the cops. The kid looks at him, and this is Steve and Hank looking at each other. They're just staring at each other. And he kind of stares him down, and finally he just like, and the kid's like, and he just leaves. And as they're leaving, you hear one of the kids go, I thought he was a cop.
I thought he was a cop.
We go over to Dale, and Dale,
again, him catching the arrow, that was pretty native of him.
I think the Billy Jack comment was pretty apt there. Do you remember Billy Jack?
No, I don't. I don't remember Billy Jack.
Yeah. Old movie. Guy was a kind of, it's almost like Walking Tall, that kind of thing. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw Walking Tall. Yeah.
Yeah. Billy Jack was more of a Native American, though. And then you hear Dale say, I'm not going to lie to you, Joseph. It sure would have been sweet having a cool son. And he pulls out a cigarette, sticks it in his son's mouth, and goes, hey, cool kids, look at Joseph smoke. Nah, they're gone. God, what a... He's just the worst fucking father in this thing.
Terrible. Absolutely awful.
So Joseph looks to him and he says, Dad, sometimes the coolest thing to do is to make your own path and not kill a panda. He goes, yeah. So now we've gotten past the panda killing or the attempted panda killing, and you get we're back at Tom Landry Middle School. We're in class. Both of them are on the back row. And Bobby looks over at Joseph. He's like, oh, sorry I narked on you, Joseph. He goes, yeah, well, sorry I was such a tool. They both start yawning because they're both tired. They were out trying to kill pandas. And he goes, dang, I hardly slept at all last night. This is Bobby talking. He goes, then I had so much trouble getting going this morning. I missed breakfast and the bus. Now we see a vision in Bobby's head. Bobby has now transformed into a panda. He's chewing on bamboo, and he's in the middle of the Hollywood Squares, because why wouldn't he be?
I got a list of the people.
I do too. Yeah, go for it.
Hollywood Square. Minnie Driver, members of Destiny's Child, Carson Daly, Bruce Vilanch, who was a writer for Whoopi Goldberg, Eric Estrada.
He was a stand-up comedian. He was a writer for years and years and years. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox, which is Ponch and John from Chips, which those of you don't know what Chips was, it was a 70s cop show. Motorcycle Cops, I think.
Motorcycle Cops.
Yeah. Rob Schneider, Steve Irwin, and Al Franken, who is a comedian / senator.
Al Franken was one of the original writers on Saturday Night Live. He and then became a senator.
Yeah.
Then he became a senator from Minnesota, which was the weirdest thing. But
his comedy is hilarious, though.
Yeah. No,
He's
definitely so.
Guy.
Yeah. All right. So he says, so Bobby pictures himself as a panda. We hear Tom Bergeron hosting the Hollywood Squares. And he goes, the contestant says, I'm going to go with Bobby Panda for the win, Tom. Tom Bergeron says, Bobby Panda, a recent survey found the most popular thing Americans like to dip in fondue is what? Then it shows Bobby as the panda chewing on bamboo. And he goes, my mother-in-law. And everybody just breaks up laughing. And that is the end of the Vision Quest episode. We get the credits, and then after the credits, we hear John Redcorn say, "Hey, what a coinkydink!" That is it. That is it.
Yep, that was it. That's a good episode.
Episode 12, 7 ABE 09, Vision Quest, aired February 9th, 2003.
Yeah, that one's I don't know. That's not one of my favorites.
It's not one of my favorites either, but it's not a bad episode at all.
No, it's funny. It's got its moments. I like the like I said, my favorite part is the panda killing scene, the arrow grab and all that.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. It is creepy though to know. It is creepy to think about the way John Redcorn is just kind of always around the corner, watching Joseph. I've never really understood why he doesn't just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, and just go ahead and take one for the team. I mean, Dale, yes, would be ticked off, but he'd probably think it was kind of cool too. So I don't know. I don't think Dale would react as bad as everybody thinks he does. But that is the end of this one. You want to tell them where they can find us?
You can find us at BWAAAKOTH on all social media, and go ahead and shoot us an email at BWAAAKOTH@gmail.com. And for those of you that are listening on audio only, you could go to youtube.com/@BWAAAKOTH. Go give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, and hit that notification bell to see when we go live.
It is Artie had one comment here at the end. He says, I like how Dale Crank calls the Federal Reserve in the middle of the night. Yeah, that probably gets you on a list at some part. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we appreciate all of you being here, even the crappy ones. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the chat. Thanks for nobody overreacting to anything, and we really appreciate it. The world's a weird place, guys, and people come and go. So
y'all don't have to delete them. Y'all could leave all that stuff up there. I think it's funny. It's a part of the streaming thing. Whenever a heckler is a viewer, is a viewer. So yeah, I like hecklers. I love
how people come into the chat and start calling you things, but they're there in the chat with you. That's my favorite.
Oh, you look mad or you look sad. I'm like, well, you're one of the concurrent viewers I have watching. So
they also have like 19 accounts that they just go back and forth on. But you guys are always here for us, and we do appreciate it. Artie, thank you so much for being there as always. Everybody else that's in the chat, Rusty, and is it Ed LaCandle? Maybe. I don't know. Then we had our
resting bitch face. They say I always look sad. It's resting bitch face.
Oh no! I was talking about the person who gave us a super chat.
Oh yeah. No, he said I always look sad. No, I don't always. I'm not sad at all. It's just resting bitch face.
Eddie, all right, Eddie, I can do that definitely. But thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate it. Thanks for getting through last week, and Rusty, thank you for taking that over. We had block party here last week. It was about a 14-hour day for me, and it was a long day, but it was great. We had a really good concert. Had a a long day outside where we had a battle of the bands, had a lot of stuff going on. And then the next day, I had the Texas Creator Awards, which we gave away awards to people that create digitally in the state of Texas. Rusty was kind enough to present a couple of awards. I think we gave away 10 in total. Our first year had 3 bands play. I mean, it was a cool night, honestly. And then the next day, I had to take a live show that I do from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every day. And move it to a new location. So it was a hell of a weekend.
Are you guys doing a bar tour, or is that the final location?
We had originally, thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We had originally talked about doing like a month here and a month there and that kind of thing. But I think backyard's probably going to work out best for us. So
yeah, that's great. No, that's a good place to do it.
Yeah. But thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you again next week. I think there's just one thing left to say, right?
If you're watching right now on the live, we will still be here for the Friday episode, so don't go anywhere. And Wimatanye.
Wimatanye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network